Hello everyone, my name's Ryan and I'm a driving instructor. Today I want to talk about battery electric vehicles. Wonderful. Now there's a very touchy subject. A lot of people like them, a lot of people hate them. Well, I think they're brilliant. And that's the end of the video. You wanted a bit more, I guess. Yeah. Actually, I do think they're pretty good, and I do think, yeah, probably long term, probably save the environment. If you're charging from a renewable source, your own personal solar array that links into some sort of battery that charges up overnight, that, yeah, it's complicated. If you charge from the grid, then potentially could be, if you're in certain parts of the country, charging from gas or oil-fired power stations. So actually, are they any good? Well, yeah, they're alright, I guess. Could I use one? As a driving instructor, could I use one? See them all the time. See all these battery cars all over the place. Obviously, some instructors use them, some instructors like them. Some instructors I know personally that have got them and said, oh yeah, they're alright. They're pretty good. They do what I need them to do. I guess in their coverage area, in their small coverage areas, then yeah, they can get away with it. 150 miles, 200 miles a day, that's what everybody sort of covers, anywhere in between. They get that sort of coverage in range or mileage. And I do that about as well. I think I worked mine out as 172 miles on an average 8 hour a day lesson time. Yeah, if I put the extra 2 in and go to 10 hours a day, working from 8 till 8 every single day, then I'm over that. I'm about 210 to 12, depending on how far away my clients are from each other. But these cars, are these electric cars any good for me personally? Well, I've discovered some faults and some flaws. There's the government about to announce that again, they're going to move the goalpost and kick the can down the road, and they're going to still sell petrol vehicles till 2035 possibly, and diesels till 2035. I sometimes feel that they've got to commit to something and got to make these manufacturers make their cars even better. Giving them extra power, giving them loads and loads of power probably isn't the answer. We'll all be driving supercars before long. Possibly let's just increase the range. Why not? Let's put 150 horsepower engines, 100 brake horsepower per ton in these motors, and let's have masses of range. Let's have 300 or 400 miles out of a Corsa. In my example, I'm using my Clio. Why not? My Clio is a 2017 Clio, 110 brake horsepower. It's got 200 torques or something like that. Put the figures somewhere. 120 grams per kilometre, 180 quid a year tax. That's my car. On average, claimed to get 52.3 mpg. What do I get really? Probably high 30s. Learner drivers, high 30s. Not bad. Ironically, I've just had a zero emission DPD van go past me. Fascinating. I wonder where he's based. Anyway, so then I look at the equivalent. Now I looked at a Zoe, but it doesn't really matter what they are. Zoe, a Leaf, and anything that's new. Corsas. We look at the E208, the Mini, even going as far as the Honda, but the little Honda's a bit range limited, so we'll probably not use that. And same as the 500 electric, doesn't really work with that. I'm using the example that, well, driving instructors traditionally drove super minis. They drove cars that were small, even going as far as saying like a Golf, or maybe as big as an Astra. But everybody seems to be driving SUVs as learner cars, and they're electrics, so they kind of have the same sort of range. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use a typical Corsa. Now, a brand new Corsa sets you down about 32 grand, but you can get one a year old for about 20 at the minute, because the depreciation on the electrics has fallen through the floor, because people at the moment don't seem to be buying them for some reason. I don't really, maybe it's the infrastructure. I'm not really getting into that. I'm using the car as an example. Would it be any good for me? That Corsa has a 46.2 kilowatt usable battery. It can do a claimed range of about 200 miles, which is kind of what I use. I use about 200 miles. The manufacturer charge time on a home socket is 15 hours. So I'd get in at 8 o'clock at the night, charge of 15 hours. Oh, hang on a sec, I'm leaving at 7:30 in the morning. Alright, what do I do now then? How do I charge my car in time before I leave? That's my first problem. Another manufacturer claim was it's 7.5 hours to charge it from a dedicated wall unit on your driveway. That's if you've got access to a driveway, which most people haven't if they live in terraced houses, which is something ridiculous. Like about 30% of the population, or you live in a flat, you can't charge your car. Yeah, it's not happening. So if I went to use 3-pin socket, 15 hours. Well, that's absolutely no good. If I decide to charge it on that 3-pin socket for 15 hours, then my tariff now is 28.24 pence per kilowatt to charge it from empty, which I would use it during the day, get to the end of the day, charge it up. I'm going to assume it's on, let's say 10%. It would cost me approximately £13.05 to charge the car overnight for 200 miles. That's not bad, is it? About a quarter of the cost of petrol, I reckon. Something in the region of that. And people have got it really cheap if they've gone on the right tariffs and you've done Octopus's energy charge overnight where it costs you literally nothing. I'm talking about you just plugging it into the wall here, not using a dedicated charger. Let's say I don't have access to that sort of street charger, driveway charger, dedicated charger, the 15 kilowatt ones that you see. Let's say I've now got to use a quick charger and I've got the Ionity charger that's near me. I've got to charge that for 55 minutes. So for 55 minutes every single day out of my day, I've got to charge my car. So that interrupts my lessons. Unless I did at the end of the day, but then it's 8 o'clock at night. Why would I do that? Or I'd have to get up stupid early to go and charge my car. Well, it's not going to work. If I then charge it on that Ionity quick charger at 350 kilowatt hours charger, then the cost maxes out. I know it does. Bear with me. It costs 74 pence per kilowatt. So if I want to do the same range, 200 miles, it's going to cost me around about £34 for 200 miles. I've started to get a problem here. Well, one is the time, but the other one is how much is this going to... Clio 1.2 turbo, about 40 mpgs, I reckon it out. I stick 60 quid in this, 400 miles of range on average, something like that. It takes me 5 minutes to put the petrol in. Yeah. So let's double all of those. So at home, 2 charges, £26. Ionity charger, taking it somewhere, get it charged, £68 and 38 pence. But that's more than petrol. So if I can't charge at home, I've got to use a public charge. That's more than petrol. Why would I do that? Why can I not take it to Aldi or Tesco or something like that? Can I not use their public charges? Apparently not, it turns out. They cost a lot more. Yeah, some of them can cost £1.20 per kilowatt hour. Yeah, I'll put a list possibly somewhere over here. When I put this video out, you'll see all the figures on the side of this screen. The other problem that I've got is the actual battery car itself and the cost of it. That I'd have to take a new loan out, and have people got those sort of credit ratings? No. I'm going to do a new Les video in a few weeks or something like that, and that's a whole different story. ULEZ is a whole complete different ball game. That's even more confusing. I'm going to tell you 2 things at the end though. The first one is about a friend that who was a pupil who bought a Tesla automatic. Electrics are automatic, and bought a Tesla and found that when they went to charge it, it drains off their local board. They've got a dedicated charger. It drains off their board. It uses a lot of power, and they sometimes struggle to get the boiler on, or they sometimes struggle to use the electric cooker or struggle to use the shower because it's draining so much. They actually went to a neighbour and said, "You've got an electric car, what do you use?" And they told them what it was, and they went into the details and they got all of the details off it, and they said, "Oh, well, how much is that? What you know, when are you charging it? How are you charging it?" And they found out they were charging at the same time. They contacted the electricity company and they said, "Oh yeah, what you need is a 3-phase charger installing." And then, "Oh great, how much is one of them?" And they said, "Well, it's about £1,000 a house, but we've got to renew the cable that comes into your estate, and the cable that goes into your estate is 25 grand. Oh, well, they're not getting quick charge anytime soon. Their charging infrastructure simply can't cope, and it's these old 1940s, 1950s detached houses that they lived in. You think the infrastructure would be pretty good there, wouldn't you? But no. Another one is that I've got another friend who's got a Leaf. No, it's not Urelian, it's another person who's got a Leaf. Found out they got problems with the batteries. They damaged the car by accident. They drove it into a fence of all things. And when they took it to the garage said, "Oh yeah, it needs repairing, you'll have to fix that because the door's damaged." So they left it at the garage and waited for a quote, and the man phoned him back and said, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a quote for your car. The only thing is we've got to store it somewhere, and the government says we've got to give 15 metres of room, so we've got to store it somewhere that will be safe away from the other cars, just in case it explodes, apparently." I don't know. I know batteries do explode. I don't know how that one can. Got a phone call about 2 days later, and he says, "Oh yeah, your door's damaged down the side." He says, "You can see you hit the fence as you went round." He says, "Oh yeah," he says, "we were not going to repair it." And he said, "Why? Why are you not going to repair it?" He said, "Because we can't guarantee that the batteries are damaged." So what's going to happen to that car? That car's like 12 grand. What's going to happen to that car? Can't really scrap, it's worth 12 grand. What happens to the car now? What happens to the battery pack? Where do they store it? Where? They contacted the insurer, and the insurer was like, "Oh yeah, we can, in some cases, if we can't prove that there's no damage to the floor of the car and therefore the batteries, we can write them off." Joyful, I guess. So, is a battery car good for you? Probably. Most of the time they are. No doubt about it. Round town, probably brilliant. Charge it up all you want. Is it good enough for me as an instructor? I need one with better range. I need one with like 300 miles, so I'm not charging it every single night or every single day or getting into that high. Oh, Christ, I want something that I can plug in, leave it to charge 3 hours, something like that, maybe overnight, maybe every 2 days, maybe 5 minutes, a hydrogen system or something like that. I've got a car that does that. You put diesel in it and it gives you 600 miles of range when you put 70 quid in it. If you've watched that video, well, go and like that video too. Put a link up here somewhere for it. Well, I hope you like what you've seen today. If you do, like, subscribe, enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.